Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another first Descendant video. So we got the dev stream for PAX East and it was a shorter thing, more like an interview session, and they shared a little bit of what's coming in season 3 and it looked pretty interesting. Now unfortunately things got leaked a few hours before, and so the stream itself wasn't as exciting because we already knew what was happening, but it was still fun because we knew what they were going to show. So yeah, let's have a quick chat about what they showed, my thoughts on it, and the future of TFD and that. So first up, there was just some intros and chat about what's coming, and then they showed a new faction called Legion of Breach that would be in the Axion open world map. So this was pretty cool. I think these guys, I'm not sure if they'll be weak to a particular element like the others. Maybe they'll be weak to fire, who knows. But yeah, some interesting design. These bigger ones, they look like raptors. And yeah, this pretty good. So new enemy faction here. There was also a big boss type. So I'm guessing this guy would be like the end boss, elite boss at the end of missions or dungeons or whatever. Yeah, it looks good. I like the concept here. The art style is pretty good. So next, what we got was basically the hover bike. So they had this short trailer for the bike, or it was mostly for bunnies, buns than the bike itself. But yeah, we got a little look at the bike. Everybody will get the bike when you log in into season 3, and they said there'll be upgraded versions that you can improve. I don't think this will be anything complicated. You won't be getting like build videos for the bikes. Would be nice, but I don't think it'll be that complicated. You can maybe add a few things to the bike. So yeah, this should be interesting. Hover bike. If you've played Apex Legends, they had that car as well where 3 people could jump on it. I forgot the name, even though I played that game for so long. But yeah, this could be something similar, but it looks like just one person here. But yeah, it looks interesting. And Bunny's things also spin when she sits on. So that was the bike. Next, we got the Colossus in the field, um, called the Wall Crasher. Now, they did say this guy will be much bigger than the Colossus we had, like double the size. 40 meters is what they were saying. So this will be interesting. I don't know if this will require more than 4 people or it will still be 4 people. They did say they'll have 8-man raids or something, but I don't know if it applies to this one. But this reminded me of Diablo, basically. We have the word bosses in Diablo that come around every 6 hours or something once a day. And basically, they were saying something similar, like there'll be a timer and you have to get there and fight. So I think this will be very similar and you'll get a lot of loot. So should be interesting. Hopefully, they can add a few different bosses. I think Diablo had like 3 bosses or something. So I haven't played Diablo since season 3, 4. So I'm not sure what the state is, but they had something like this as well. And I like those events where you have like a few hours of window where you have to get there within 15 minutes and then everybody joins and starts, even though even in Diablo, people were killing the bosses in a few seconds. So yeah, there's just a way to get some loot. I'm liking the open world aspect that they're sharing here. I want more zones, bigger open world maps, so you can run around and do random things and hopefully have more stuff to do. So yeah, this looks like a good addition, and yeah, we'll see how we can tackle this guy. Next, what they talked about was the lounge feature. So this was interesting. They explained it, but I'm not too sure how it would work without actually seeing some gameplay. They said you'll walk in and then it'll turn into first person. So it seems what they're trying to do is, if you remember when the game started, your character was like one of the Descendants standing in a cutscene and just not saying anything. With the Serena's quest line, you may have noticed it went into first person and the Descendants were talking, and you, the player, was just like the first person. And the Descendants would address you and stuff like that. So I think this is similar to that. You will be playing as yourself, walking into the lounge, and you see all the Descendants hanging around and doing their stuff. So I think this is what they're doing here. You'll be displaying your trophies, colo toys, whatever, and all the skins that you have for the various Descendants and things like that. So yeah, interesting addition. Hopefully they keep adding to it and make it more interesting. I want them to have all your trophies and awards and medals, achievements, all of those hanging around somewhere as well. Maybe some screenshots or something, things like that. Maybe when you finish a difficult mission, you have stuff for that, things like that. But we'll see. Looks interesting. Again, until we actually see some gameplay, I really can't really say much about it. So next we have the return of Master Karel, um, and the story continuation. So we'll get more interesting info about what happens in Sigma Sector, why he's attacking, his plans, and things like that. So yeah, I think for the overall health of the story and the continuation, we need to see Karel make an appearance every now and then, at least in my opinion, because your main bad guy, he needs to be a little more prominent. We haven't seen him since the end of the main quest, which we finished back in July or something. So I don't think he has made an appearance. I mean, he was briefly there at the end of that Serena Daya quest line, but we haven't seen him since. So we have seen his right hand guy, Amon, more than him. So yeah, we'll be there. Next, they said there will be the story for season 3 with Nell and Enzo being involved romantically. This seemed obvious if you saw the Serena quest line. They were together quite a bit, so I could see that coming. So not surprising. And of course, with Nell and Enzo being involved, Nell is also going to be the next Descendant. So this is interesting because I remember early on when they did their first or second live streams, they were asking people who they want to see as the next Descendant. A lot of people were mentioning the NPCs, and I think Nell was the one getting the most votes. So they have implemented that she is going to be, seems like a gun-based Descendant. She has the ability to hit all weak points, and she can also open the vaults that Enzo does because of their connection. So will be an interesting addition because I think she's going to be in the gun-based Descendants category. So yeah, should be fun. This outfit probably is her default outfit. I'm not sure, but yeah, looks interesting. I think it looks cool. It looks very Resident Evil type, and yeah, I like the look of Nell here, and we'll see how she plays. As usual, we'll be unlocking. I'll be doing this stuff anyway, so it doesn't matter. Next, we have the next ultimate, which will be Ultimate Luna. So yeah, I think it's finally time to build Luna. I have just started leveling up her arcade tuning, so I'll try and have a Luna build finally. They said she'll come with two interesting transcendent mod. One will turn her into more of a gun, firearm based transcendent, and the other will improve her music and her abilities to work with that. New music will also be added. So again, we just got screenshots here. We did not see any gameplay. Somebody said in the comments that perhaps they were worried because of the nature of the game. They did not want to show gameplay. They just showed the clips, the screenshots and stuff. Or maybe they are still working because we are in sort of mid-May, not even mid-May, and this is probably early July when season 3 will launch. So there's still work to be done, still in development. So they did not want to show much stuff. And I've also noticed they tend to not show and reveal stuff until it's very close to launch. So yeah, so Ultimate Luna, good news. And they also said there will be Ultimate Eugene in episode 2. So once again, they'll be following the two episode format. So season 3 episode 1, season 3 episode 2. And in episode 2, we will get Ultimate Eugene. So that is interesting. It seems to me this season new format that they're going with, this is probably going to be like a 6-month thing. So perhaps, again, they haven't confirmed. So they'll have season 3 episode 1 for 3 months, then season 3 episode 2 for 3 months, then probably season 4 and so on. So that seems to be the trend here. As long as there's substantial content, I'm happy. So yeah, so Ultimate Luna is the next Ultimate Descendant. Okay, next we have swords. So they have added swords into the game. A lot of people have been requesting this. This was a very popular request from what I have seen since the game has come out. And yeah, this is pretty cool. So you have these 3 types of swords here at the moment. Looks interesting. I don't know if they increase in level based on how this sword looks like. This is sort of like a closed version, more open version, normal version, and then more of a fancy version, ultra version, whatever. So maybe it powers up as you play along. Somebody later in the Q&A asked how the swords will work, and they said you will put them in your normal firearm slots and you will put mods on it. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how this works, because with TFT we have been using skills to clear out hundreds and hundreds of enemies using various skills. I wonder how long it will take to swipe and slash all these hundreds of Vulgus. Will it work? Will it not work? Will happen. But yeah, interesting addition. because this was a very heavily fan requested thing. So I'm happy to see this here. They also briefly talked about some skill and passive modules that will be added in season 3. So they mentioned that you'll be able to put a module where um, it will rain down meteors on the enemies and things like that. So again, we don't really have much to go on besides what the director said, and with the translation and stuff, it's sometimes hard to understand. But that is also something they'll be adding. So you could put that as a passive and on any descendant or perhaps a gun, I don't know, and you'll get some benefits out of that as well. Then it was the big announcement in terms of the collab. So the collab is with Nier Automata. Now, I don't think this is particularly surprising. If you saw my post a few weeks ago, I mentioned that Nier Automata seemed the most likely, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, because Nier Automata, they tend to collab with everyone. I've seen them collab with the um, Naraka Blade Point. I think even one of those Fall Guys or something like that. Rainbow Six Siege was a terrible one, but they did collab with that one. Stellar Blade, and I'm sure there are a few others, but they tend to be more open to collaborations. And I think this game, of all the games, seems the most suitable for the collab. So they showed this one here to be outfit here. They also the host guy, he asked them if there will be any story content, and they said there will only be skins, which is a little unfortunate. Maybe a few missions or something would have been fun. But yeah, they said it will only be skins. They showed two outfits here. Now, the question I have is this going to be exclusive to a particular Descendant, or this is going to be a common skin? Because at this point here, I don't know who this is, but they did show the other skin, which was clear that it was Ines in that one. Let me see. Yeah, see this one here, this is Ines. Um, don't know who the other one was, or if they're both um, like universal and common for all the females. Maybe the first one is, this one isn't, this one is just for Ines, who knows. But yeah, would be interesting to see how this do, because this is a popular franchise, and the crowd gave a big cheer when they announced this thing. So yeah, this is interesting and good, and I hope they get more collabs with other games. Would be interesting to see who they pick. Like I said, Naraka Blade Point would be a good one, because I played a little bit of that game, and they could have some interesting collabs with that one, and maybe something else. I mean, could be many games that are willing to work if the game does well. They also briefly talked about what's coming on the 27th. So they showed off these skins here. They had shown these off multiple times in pretty much every stream for the last 2-3 streams. So this is coming on the 22nd, and this looks like a common skin. I do not know who was on the left, but the host did mention that it was Serena. The other one is Ines, so that is obvious. And so yeah, that's all we seem to be getting on the 22nd. One skin and some other in-game updates and things like that. And they also talked about the TFD Fest, first anniversary in July, and they said they'll have some in-game events to celebrate that. They also said there will be a contest of designing skins for male descendants, female descendants, and unisex skins. So that will start, I think, today, 12th of May. Later, I'll probably mention it in the community post or something when I see some official information on how to submit. So yeah, that is also interesting, getting the community involved. So that seems interesting. Also, by the way, we did comfortably hit the 20K viewer requirement to get all the rewards. These will be given out from the 12th until the 17th. So from today until the 17th, Saturday, you will receive these in your mailbox in the game. So hopefully we get that. And yeah, so this was basically what they covered here. And then finally, we had some Q&A. Nothing particularly interesting here, so I won't go into too much detail. Very softball questions, only a few of them. They did not seem to have a lot of time left. One guy was worried about Luna's nail polish. And there was one guy who said they were not getting enough ammo. So I'm guessing that guy did not unlock the hunting dog and has not seen some of the modules because he was running out of ammo. So that was definitely a new player in the game, maybe. And yeah, others were also nothing particularly unusual. One guy did ask about the swords and how the modules will work, and they said that you will be putting modules on the gun, on the sword, I mean. And then for the hover bike, somebody asked if the hover bike would be faster than Bunny. And yes, they said it will be faster than Bunny. So yeah, a few questions, nothing particularly interesting or useful, shall I say. But yeah, overall, my thoughts, pretty good. Like I said, we did not see any gameplay, so I couldn't really get too hyped. But the information we got here was decent. I really like the open world boss here, the wall crasher, especially if there is like a timer or something like finish the boss in 10 minutes, sort of like Diablo. I've been saying this even before the game came out that this game is more similar to Diablo than it is to some of the other looter shooters in how it works. It's just in 3D. And so this world boss thing is very familiar to me, having played Diablo. And I'm hoping we get a ton of good loot here, like dropping a lot of materials and things like that. So we have this here, the wall crasher. Looking forward to it. Hopefully they add more Colossus. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the story. Nell, definitely, I'm interested in seeing how Nell works as a descendant. Swords, I'm a little unsure about how swords will work. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they can implement it simply because there's so many enemies in the game. Um, unless the swords have some ability that can clear further beyond the reach of the sword, it will take a long time to clear a lot of enemies. So, but we'll see how they make it work. And of course, there is the Nier Automata collab. I'm interested to see what Karel does and the bike. So I would say Nell, bike, and swords. Those are the things, and the sorry, and the Colossus. Those are the things that I'm looking forward to. So yeah, overall, I'm happy with what they've shown here. Of course, we'll get more information as we get closer. There'll be another live stream in June, and then perhaps when the season 3 launches, that should give us the remaining idea. But again, I like to be more realistic. Um, I'm not thinking that this will be a completely mind-blowing experience. There will be other things added. They did mention that something is not coming immediately at the launch of season 3. I think the swords, I think they're not coming immediately at launch. They'll be coming a little later on the one or two updates. So yeah, I'm happy with the game as it is right now. Again, I'm hopeful for the future. So I'll be still playing. I'll still be enjoying making builds and doing stuff. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm interested in whatever they have in mind. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think as well. Again, I'm looking forward to Luna, Nell, Wall Crasher, Bike. So yeah, I'm happy. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time.